are we? Trog, how did you get us lost again?
I didn't get us lost. Just Mike said the bar was this way.
Why you always have to blame the Mexican?
You're Mexican?
Look, let's focus.
Hey, did you hear that?
Yeah. Hey, we found the Man Please cave.
Oh, really, Sherlock? Shut up and let's listen.
Yeah, Mike, shut up. It's time for the Man Please Show.
Today's show is brought to you by Top Studios,
where they specialize in voiceovers, audio, and video production. Contact them at 732-781-8032.
We're getting on board the Man Please train and leaving the station, so get on board.
All right. Good day. Good Monday, everybody. It's 3:01 in the PM. It's April 7th, 2014. April 7th. Yeah, it's a rainy, chilly day. Not much like, well, I guess rainy's like spring. But chilly ain't like spring. And it's chilly out there. I did some yard work yesterday, and I'm glad I got that done yesterday. We've got a great show for you today. I think it's great. I hope it is. I hope you think it's great. You're listening to the Man Please Show, and I am your host. And I'm so glad you're tuning in. I appreciate it. We've got several things to talk about today. I've got, of course, we're going to talk about the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship game, which airs tonight, by the way, on Channel 2. That's a local Channel 2. At about 9 o'clock, they start their coverage at 8:30. I believe the game starts right around 9 o'clock. And we're also going to be talking about the Oscar Pistorius trial. I've got a couple questions. You know, he's testifying on his own behalf right now. And it's very interesting, some of the comments people are making about his testimony. We'll talk about that. And also, and this is a hit or miss kind of topic, there's a group called the Young Turks, which I watch their videos on YouTube, and they're typically they have interesting and typically I agree with them, but they were talking about a particular incident, which I agree with them and their opinion about, right up until they shared something which I think just completely discredits him, to me anyway now, and we may get to that, and ultimately we're going to talk about Nick Cannon. A lot of you may know he's been in some recent controversy. And I've got a very strong opinion about it. And so, you know, this is the Man Please Show, and I am the host, so I guess I'm allowed to give a little attitude. And but I invite your calls. I invite your attitude. I want to hear what you have to say. I'll tell you what I think, and I may say man please to you. Who knows? You may say man please to me. But the number here is 336-763-5482. I'll say it again, 336-763-5482. That's the number right here in the studio, and you can call live right now, or it's not live right now because you're listening to an archived version of this show, which is kind of Twilight Zone-y, isn't it? It's kind of like you're going in the past. Call now because I still might answer. You never know. But if you're calling Monday, Wednesday, or Friday between the hours of 3 and 4 p.m., you'll be calling during the show because that's when the Man Please Show airs, Monday through Friday. No. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's chat about the NCAA championship. What do you think? You know, I heard today that This is first. I don't know if it's first time in a long time, but it might be. But it's unusual that there's no North Carolina teams. There were no North Carolina teams that made it to the Sweet 16. What is happening, man? What's happening, man? It ain't right, man. I mean, come on, man. Nope. But it's turned out to be a fascinating tournament, I think. I mean, look who's in the championship. Number 7 seed, UConn. UConn. I like that name. That's kind of cool. UConn. University of Connecticut. UConn. Conjures up, I don't know, Yukonic kind of things. They're taking on the number 8 seed, Kentucky Wildcats. And I heard, I know one person, I can't remember who it was, but I distinctly remember hearing him say, at the very beginning of this tournament, when the bracket came out, he said, you know, Kentucky, I predict Kentucky's going to win the whole thing. And I got on board after Carolina got beat. Then I jumped over to Kentucky's bandwagon because I've watched them, and they're playing championship basketball right now. So I'm not surprised to see Kentucky in this. I actually think I said Kentucky was going to be in this in a previous show. But I had them playing Florida. Now, I am surprised about UConn beating Florida because I really, I picked Florida to win the whole thing, actually, I believe. I thought they were going to take down Kentucky. But they didn't even take down UConn. UConn kept it such a slow basketball game. Florida was just taken completely off balance. They couldn't figure out what to do. And so UConn took them down. I don't think UConn will be able to do the same thing to Kentucky because Kentucky can light it up from outside. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to light it up from outside, and they're going to take down the Huskies. That's my prediction. But I got a question for you. The tournament was seeded according to how the bracket leaders or whoever they are determine based on schedule and wins and losses who the best teams are, and that's how they rank them. Number 1 seeds, 2 seeds, 3, 4, 5. So my question is, does the best team always win the championship? Because after they win the tournament, they go out number 1. That's it. They are the national champions. Are they the best team? I don't know about that. But does that matter? I don't think so, because really, I think it's who is the best team today. Because you think about it. You think about like baseball. Baseball has the playoffs, and they go all the way through the playoffs, But during the season, they have they play like 168 games, 162, something like that. And typically, a lot of times, they'll play series. So they'll go somewhere and they'll play a team 3 times. It's just back to back. Or I'm not sure if they do it 4 times or not, but I know they do 3. And sometimes they get swept. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they split it. Sometimes the other team sweeps. I guess you can't split it, but if you only play 3, one team's going to win 2. But sometimes one team wins 3. Sometimes one team wins 4. So my question is, You know, Boston won the World Series last year. But how many times during the regular season did Boston get swept by a team? Well, they weren't the best team then, were they? So I think it's who's the best team today. That's the best we can do. Even if Florida had won it, could we have said Florida's the best team in college basketball? I don't think so, because look what happened. Florida didn't make it to the championship. So, therefore, we can't say that Florida is the best team in the country today or Saturday. They weren't. Were they? They got beat. So, what do you think? 336-763-5482. Do you think it matters? Do you think they're really? I think there are sometimes the best team in the country comes in the tournament, kicks butt, and wins. I do believe that. I mean, but on any given day, another team could have done the exact same thing. I point out the example of Carolina when they won, and I had some Duke people dispute this, but there's no disputing it. When Carolina went through the tournament and won all 6 games by double digits, that had never been done before. Duke said, "Oh yeah, we did it, 92 or 91, whenever it was." No, you didn't. You didn't win the championship game by more than 10. Sorry, Charlie. It's no good. It's not happening today. Okay? I'm so sorry. You come back tomorrow, okay? Sorry, Dookies. I can't give you no love. But I don't expect love from you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Well, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back and we're going to jump into the Pistorius trial. I got some opinions about that, man. I'd love to hear your opinion. 336-763-5482. Give us a call. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Making beautiful memories last. Top Studios professional photo, audio, and video production. We offer unique packages not found anywhere else. Our wedding package includes a 30-second high-production video or audio invitation and a fairy tale love story video with professional narration. Top Studio will also give you a beautiful photo album with high-quality pictures that you can show your loved ones time and time again. For more information, call 732-781-8032.
I have a particular set of skills that I have acquired. And if you listen to the Man Please show, that will be the end of it. But if you don't, I will look for you, and I will find you, and tickle you till you cry.
All right, did you do the dishes?
I did.
Did you vacuum?
I did.
You're not going to blow your nose at the table anymore?
No, I won't.
Okay, you drive.
All right, let's go.
And don't embarrass me by yelling yippee when we get there.
Okay.
Sarah's Kebab Shop. Treat yourself to a menu that includes a wide range of food options from beef or chicken kebabs to one of the tastiest burgers in town. Hot and cold subs and Greensboro's best gyros. Sarah's Kebab Shop. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Located at 5553 West Market Street in Greensboro, right beside the DMV. And call them at 336-355-9260. Sarah's Kebab Shop. Reward yourself. Yippee!
I was just looking at the television. By the way, you're listening to the Man Please Show, and I'm your host, Trog. It's 3:15 in the p.m. I was just looking at HLN, and they were showing the young man that there was a young man that got a tattoo on his calf at the beginning of the tournament. You know what the tattoo's of? 2014 National Champions, University of Kentucky. Wow. Now that was risky. I guess you can change the date or cover it up and turn the date into something else as a retat. Retat-a-tat-tat. But that's pretty bold. Hey, what if it happens? That kid is famous. Somebody's going to pay for that tattoo, huh? Maybe give him a little more money for a tattoo. Hey, I'll give you $1,000 if you tattoo my name across your forehead. $1,000. There's people that do that too, by the way. Sell their body as advertising space. Yeah, put your logo right here on my cheek, and just give me $1,500, and we're good. Pay for the tattoo. How long does that $1,500? I guarantee it's gone that weekend. Maybe before the weekend's over. That's why he's crying Sunday night. He's already broke. He's got to go back to work tomorrow. Man, I got this tattoo on my forehead. It ain't even healed yet, and I'm broke. Dang it. Moron. Okay. Let's move on. I want to talk about Oscar Pistorius. Well, that's tricky. Especially a guy like me. I have a fat tongue and big lips. I struggle sometimes. Pistorius. He, man, if I know I'm sure you're familiar with the case. Oscar Pistorius is the Blade Runner from South Africa. Entered in the Olympics and ran. Didn't enter the. I don't know what the other Olympics are called. Dang it. Got to say the politically correct thing. I can't think of what they're called. Paralympics, right? But he was so good that he moved up to the big leagues, to the Olympics. Well, he's accused of killing his girlfriend, which he's not denying. He did do it. There's no question. He's not disputing that. What he's saying is that he shot her. It was a horrible accident. That he constantly feared for his life because of his celebrity status. He's been followed. He's been shot at before, according to him. And it's very common that people of wealth and fame get robbed, and they have to secure their homes, really well. And because people will break in and take stuff and kill them, for things. So he said that he, while they were sleeping, he thought a burglar had gone into his bathroom. That's the part I struggle with. But, and so just out of reactiveness and adrenaline, somebody's in my house, somebody's in my bathroom, I have to defend myself and my girlfriend, my home. He gets his gun, he shoots through the bathroom door, killing Reva, his girlfriend. He claims it was a horrible accident. The state claims that it was not an accident, that it was a deliberate act. Well, this trial's been going on, golly, for a couple of weeks now, a few weeks. And he's actually testifying. And I've listened to some of the testimony. And, the thing about this is there's no disputing. I mean, he doesn't dispute that he killed his girlfriend. What he says is that it was a horrible accident. And you know what? Horrible accidents happen, don't they? And I'm not saying that that's... I'm sort of setting up, another possible way of viewing this. Gosh. He claims his innocence. Not his innocence, but he claims that it was an accident. And accidents happen. So that's possible, isn't it? We have to give him that. That is possible. And even though the testimony could possibly dispute that, there really is only two witnesses. There's only two people that knows what happened that night in that room. And one of them is dead. And the other is saying it was a horrible accident. So, naturally, he's afraid of going to jail for something he didn't do, according to him. And can you imagine that? Because that fact exists. There are people in jail doing life sentences. There have been people, and probably are people, on death row who are not guilty of the crime they have been convicted of. There are innocent people. There are people in jail. There are people on death row that are not guilty of what they were charged with. I mean, that's a given fact, because our system is not perfect, and we acknowledge that it's not. It's impossible for us to have a perfect system. So inevitably, because it's not perfect, there are going to be innocent people convicted. And how scary is that, to know that you can be sitting in your living room today and some people can come tonight and take you out of your living room and you never return. And they accuse you of doing something that you didn't do. No, I did not do that. Maybe you were at the wrong place. Maybe somebody misidentified you. Oh, it looks like that guy. Okay, well, let's go arrest that guy. Looks like that girl. She had long blonde hair, blue eyes. That's the only one you got on the page that's got long blonde hair and blue eyes. So I think it must be her. So they go get her. They go get him. Take him out of his house. It happens all the time. And I have sympathy for the people that happens to, because I can imagine that would be a horrible experience. So when I consider this type of case, I really try to give, unless it's just overwhelmingly ridiculous, I try to give the accused every possible benefit of doubt, because that's what our law says, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt. Because, golly, I would hate to be a part of a jury that convicted somebody and put them in prison, took them away from their family, their friends, their life, put them in an environment that, golly, horrible. And they're innocent. So I take it very seriously. I want justice. Everybody wants justice, right? I want justice if he, but who's to say? Nobody else was there. There was only two people there, him and Reva. Reva's dead now, so it's just him. So he has to convince us that he's innocent. Golly, what if he is? Could you imagine the fear he's going through? Because if he gets convicted, he's never getting out of jail. Ever. Ever. Could you imagine the fear? Could you sleep? I couldn't sleep. So I was looking, he's testifying in his own defense today. He has to. I mean, he really has to. He's got to tell his side of the story. And he was so apologetic. And his words, to me, sounded so sincere. And I'm sure they were. I mean, even if what he's saying isn't true, I'm sure he regrets it. But it's interesting. I was looking at the comments because on HLN they kind of really dive into these cases, and you actually get to hear the testimony. And I was looking at the comments, and I noticed something, that every one of the responses were based on that person's life experiences, whether or not they believed his testimony, whether or not they had sympathy in their heart for him and found his words and his emotions moving, and then, there were people that found his words meaningless. I don't believe a word he said. You know what? Every one of those people, I think that says it with that type of disdain, I don't believe a word he says. He's making everything up. Has had a life experience that has brought them to that point, and they have that instinct, I guess I'll use that word, to not trust and not believe. Oh, I've heard that before, and they probably have heard it before. I've heard that kind of thing before. I've seen that kind of fake sorrow before. So this is just a repeat. And that's a valid, they have every right to feel that way, because they don't know. They don't know the truth. But based on their life experiences, I don't believe him. Why can't you see through it? That's what they say. And those who believe him, there are just as many people that were posting comments saying, his apology to the family was sincere. He's been throwing up and crying uncontrollably in the courtroom. A lot of people would say, well, he's scared to death. Yes, he is. And a lot of people would say, he's an innocent man scared to death. So scared to death both has a negative connotation and a positive connotation. But the fact is, the man is scared to death. So everybody's opinion is based on their life experiences. Isn't that interesting? Because, and I don't think any opinion is better than the other, because we don't know. We really don't. The people that don't believe him don't have any more facts than the people that do believe him. We just have different life experiences. Right? Does that make sense? It kind of does to me. It does to me. But there's one thing that's really interesting here in this case, is that this trial is a little different than most of our trials. I don't know if this is a standard trial in South Africa, but this is not a jury trial. This is a judge trial. So the state has to try to convince the judge that Oscar Pistorius intended on killing his girlfriend. And the defense has to convince the judge, one person, that their client is only guilty of a horrible accident. Now, what are the cons and pro-cons of jury versus a judge trial? I don't know. I tell you, one negative thing that jumps out at me right away is that in a jury trial, you might have 6 people believe you and 6 people don't believe you. And unless all 12 of them believe one way or the other, the state can't convict him. But in a judge trial, you got one person. And that one person is going to have an opinion. Right? Oh, man. Much scarier. Or much safer. We won't know until this is all over. Gosh. So, isn't that interesting? Do you find that fascinating, as I do? Oh, man. What do you think? 336-763-5482. You're listening to the Man Please Show. I'm your host, Trog. We're talking... Well, we just got done talking about the Pistorius case. When we come back, I got some stuff to talk about with Nick Cannon. Stick around.
Top Studios offers professional voiceover work for videos and websites. Let Top Studios produce a high-quality audio commercial for your business that can be played on the radio or on the web. Our professional voiceover talents will help you better promote the quality of your product and or service. We also specialize in industrial training and safety videos. Top Studios, professional photo, audio, and video production. For more information, call 732-781-8032.
You are all listening to the Man Please Show. Gracias, amigos.
Man, please. That's all I got to say. Actually, not all I have to say. I have a lot more to say. But that always sums up what I had to say. Please. Because I always think my opinions. No, I don't. I can be persuaded. I can. If what you're saying makes sense to me and is rational, I'll consider it. And then, if it makes more sense than what I originally thought, I'll change my opinion. Well, he's a flip-flopper. You dadgum flip-flopper. How dare you have an opinion one time and get better information and change your opinion? How dare you do that? Because I'm a intelligent, rational, flawed human being that always wants to grow and improve. And so improvement incorporates change, right? We don't start off as we finish, do we? If we do, oh my gosh, if we do, what have we accomplished? Nothing. If we don't end up a better version of ourselves when we leave here than we were when we started developing ourselves, what have we accomplished? Nothing, I think. I want to talk about Nick Cannon. Now, I want to tell you, Nick Cannon is the host of America's Got Talent. And I enjoy that show. Parts of it. Some of it, I think it's kind of stupid. Like the judges, for the most part. Sometimes they make sense, but most of the time, I think that they're just celebrities with a job. That's it. Nothing else. And not particularly good at their job. But Nick Cannon's the host, and, I've always thought Nick Cannon was a nice, respectable, rational, reasonable person. I knew a little bit about the feud between him and Eminem, and I thought Eminem was the jerk, and that Nick Cannon was the bigger man there, but I only heard little bits and pieces of it, a little bit of information, and so I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I let people screw themselves. I'll start off, with no opinion of you, and I'll let you develop my opinion of you. So I might start off with a good opinion, but as I get more information, better information, I might change my opinion of you. Right? Right. So that's what's happened in the Nick Cannon case. Nick Cannon versus Trog. Not really. Pfft, who am I? But for that matter, who's Nick Cannon? I'll tell you who he is. He's a comedian. And he's in the middle of some controversy right now. And it's controversy that I really have a strong opinion. And it's kind of risky because people misunderstand sometimes. But I still want to share a rational thought about an irrational act. Recently, Nick Cannon released a new album. And the name of that album is White People Party Mix. So I think it's a comedy album. I don't know. I don't know that he does music. It just goes to show you what little I really do know about Nick Cannon. But I do know this, that if you tell me something about yourself, I'm going to believe you. unless I know better. You know. So Nick Cannon released that album, and to promote that album, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I still don't like it because, well, you'll find out. As a publicity stunt, he put on a white face. He put makeup on, put hair on, changed his features, whatever he had to do to make his face look like a white person's face. Similar to the black face. Right? Isn't this the same thing? Blackface is a white person putting on black makeup to make themselves look like a black person. Whiteface is a black person putting on makeup to make themselves look like a white person. What do you think about that? Well, you're about to find out what I think about it. I think it is what he claims, what he owns. It is a complete act of racism. Right? How could it not be defined as an act of racism? And I bring a point right to the top here. Look at the most recent, the exact example of this type of racism. Most recently occurred. Do you remember? You remember when Julianne Hough, last Halloween, dressed up with a black face for Halloween? And Halloween is when people dress up as different things. Sometimes it's fictional characters, sometimes it's real people. And Julianne Hough was slammed, and rightfully so, right? Because that was a negative thing. It's perceived that way. It hurts people's feelings. So it's not something that you should do for any reason. Even if you want to get a laugh, it's not appropriate, right? Aren't we a compassionate nation? Don't we preach that in every religion? Compassion? Well, most religions, I say. Not every religion, but most. So she was slammed for it. And I bet her career's been hurt by it. I know that the people that typically stand up against racism, like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, they had a field day with her. That was an opportunity for them to show how intolerant our country is and how some people still don't get it. So, why isn't, and it is because he claims it, why isn't Nick Cannon's whiteface an act of racism? Why isn't Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson rising up the troops to stand against Nick Cannon's racism? Blatant racism. And you know why it's blatant racism? Because he owns it. And I quote, "I am racist." Those are his words. You can go online and read it for yourself. I'm racist. Those are his words. I'm prejudiced. Yes, I prejudge people. I do. If I meet somebody from India, I assume their house smells like curry. My Asian friends, I don't let them walk my dog. I'm racist. White people are guys. You guys are scared of young black men and black hoods. I'm scared of old white men and white hoods. Well, he goes on to say, and I'm quoting, some people can't take a joke. But I wasn't trying to reach those people, Cannon asserts. I'm reaching people that have a sense of humor and know how to laugh. And this is from the UPI.com. You can look it up yourself. That's where I'm reading it from. He's trying to reach people that have a sense of humor and know how to laugh. Well, Mr. Cannon, I have both a sense of humor and I know how to laugh. And I know how to make other people laugh. But I don't find or see the humor in this. I don't see the humor in you being so... Oh, man. It's hard for me to put it in words. It's like you're throwing... you're throwing it in... I don't know. He's basically slapping the face of every person that stands with opponents of racism. So I think there's a lot of hypocrisy here. I don't know why people aren't sponsors, employers, friends, colleagues, reporters. People aren't reacting the same way to Nick Cannon as they did to Julianne Hough. And anyone else who does a racist act out in public or even in private. But in public, it's gonna be in public, and the reaction's gonna be in public. So, I personally, and I would encourage you to not support the sponsors of America's Got Talent, because I think Nick Cannon should be fired immediately. Or at least terminated, suspended. Isn't that what was done to that guy from, and I don't even watch Duck Dynasty. He expressed his anti-gay views. Boy, people didn't like that. And they actually suspended him. They reinstated him once they found out how ridiculous it was. But he didn't put on a black face. He expressed a religious view. A lot of people would say, well, what's the difference? Well, maybe there isn't a difference to you. That's your prerogative. That's why I'm glad we live where we live. We all have that prerogative, don't we? To have our view and to stand and support that view. Well, you know what I stand with? I stand with opponents of racism. And I don't care what color you are. If you're a racist, I stand against you. And if you're against racism, I stand with you. I don't care what color you are. I care what your attitude is. You know, it's not a matter of proving whether or not Nick Cannon's a racist, right? The burden of proof is lifted because he claims it. He owns it. It's his words. I'm racist. So, now that we don't have to prove it, we just have to react to it. What are we doing? What are we doing? What an interesting question. I'd really love to hear somebody's opinion. 336-763-5482. Even if, you listen to this later and you have an opinion about it, call and leave a message. And if I'm here, I'll answer the phone. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I won't disrespect you. I won't disregard you. I might laugh at you. I might oppose you. But I have a sense of humor, and I know how to laugh. So Nick was trying to reach me. Well, he didn't reach me. He reached me, but not the way he was intending on reaching me. I both have a sense of humor and know how to laugh, Mr. Cannon. And I boycott you, sir, because you are a racist, as you claim to be. So you are no better than the men you described in your joke, the men in white hoodies. You stand beside them. You are no better, as far as I'm concerned. They own it too. Don't they? And again, I don't care if Nick Cannon's white or black. I just care that the reaction to Nick Cannon's admission of racism is understated and underwhelming. And I'm wondering where it's at. I don't know. I guess that remains to be seen. So far, there hadn't been much but him running his mouth out here, owning it, daring us to object to it, saying that we don't have a sense of humor. You weren't trying to reach us. Well, the Ku Klux Klan ain't trying to reach you, Mr. Cannon. They're just reaching their own peeps. Right? Come on, man. Oh, I stand with opponents of racism. I am an opponent of racism in any form and by any person. Racism is wrong. I was fortunate and blessed enough to be raised in a family that did not subscribe to racist views. And I actually never really witnessed racism until I was, I guess, my first year in high school. I lived a rather sheltered life. I was a military brat. Spent 3 years in Germany, 73 to 76. And up to that point, when I lived in Germany, never experienced any kind of racism. You know, we were all friends. You know, we lived on a base in Germany. We were Americans. And we had friends. And, you know, we never even considered what we looked like. We considered what we could do, you know. Who could play second base? Who was the best quarterback? Who had the most marbles? I had the most marbles, by the way. But so I was blessed, so I didn't see it for a long time. Once I saw it, it turned my stomach. And it still does. I don't care what you look like. If you're a racist, shame on you. Stick around. I'll be back with the Man Please moment of the day.
Making beautiful memories last. Top Studios professional photo, audio, and video production. We offer unique packages not found anywhere else. Our wedding package includes a 30-second high-production video or audio invitation and a fairy tale love story video with professional narration. Top Studio will also give you a beautiful photo album with high-quality pictures that you can show your loved ones time and time again. For more information, call 732-781-8032.
For all you jokers out there listening to the Man Please Show.
All right. I was supposed to restart my simian session. I didn't do it. So it crapped out on me. So anyway, we're back. You're listening to the Man Please Show. I'm your host, Trog. And it's time for the Man Please moment of the day. And I'll tell you what my moment of the day is. And that is, recently there was a charity hockey game played. Hockey match. I'm sorry. You can tell I'm not a hockey fan. It was a hockey match, charity match in New York City. And it was against the New York Police Department and the New York Fire Department. The heroes of that fine city playing a charity hockey match. Wow, how admirable. Wait a minute. It wasn't as admirable as I thought. Guess what? These knuckleheads, and I used to be a fireman, break out in a huge fight. The New York Police Department versus the New York Fire Department break out in a fight in a charity hockey match. I don't know what the charity was. It was probably anti-violence. I mean, is it part of the rules? Like, are you required to fight in hockey matches? Really? What's going to happen to these knuckleheads? Are they going to jail? They should. Right? I don't get it. So, New York City Fire Department, New York City Police Department. What do I have to say? Man, please.
Where are we? Trog, how did you get us lost again?
I didn't get us lost. Just Mike said the bar was this way.
Why you always have to blame the Mexican?
You're Mexican?
Look, let's
You've been listening
focus.
to another live broadcast of the Man Please Show.
Today's show was brought to you by Top Studios, where they specialize in voiceovers, audio, and video production.
Just Mike and myself want to thank you for listening to today's show, and be sure and listen next time on Spreaker.com and ManPlease.com as we bring you another live episode of the Man Please Show.
Gracias, amigo.
Well, that's an hour of my life I'll never get back.
I kind of liked it.
Well, you're easily amused.
Shut up. Here they come.
Shh.
You shush.
Damn it, guys. I think they see us.
To be continued.